Football, the world's biggest sport, most watched and most celebrated.
Breaking news, Cristiano Ronaldo has signed.
It still takes the back seat in India, but the culture is growing. The National League is in its 11th year. India has a football pyramid structure. We see players and their big moments. But what we don't see is a coach standing and orchestrating it all. Football coaches are responsible to groom the next generation of talent, and this insightful conversation.
So if you want to become football coach, firstly you need to be a very hardworking person.
Just gives us how hard the job is. Stay tuned and keep watching Navigating Journeys. My guest for today is Mr.Ronni Rozario, and I'm so grateful that you are here. And before even moving on to the episode and knowing a bit about you, I would like to tell you, when I met this guy, I already know one of the skills that he's going to tell us that is required to be good at what he does is communicating. I think he makes you comfortable. I never felt that I'm talking to a stranger when we first met, and I think it's something that every football coach maybe must have, and you have it. And I'm so grateful that you agreed to do this as well. So thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoy this conversation as well. All right, should we start? When did you first think that I can become a football coach?
So it was long back in 2016 when we used to play local football, and then I used to find the junior boys, they used to play good, and they used to always talk, can you teach me, can you teach me? So I used to help them. अरे ऐसे नहीं, ऐसे करते हैं, ऐसे गोल मारते हैं, ऐसे पास करो तो अच्छा हो सकता है. So that was the point where I started thinking, yeah, I can be a better coach in future. So players used to understand, they used to feel comfortable. अरे हाँ, रोनी भाई अभी बता रहे, so अभी ये करना चाहिए हम लोग. And many of the guys, they got inspired. हाँ, now I want to become like Ronnie भैया. So that's how I started thinking I can become a good coach.
So my next question is, what were the 3 indicators that pushed you to pursue a career in this? And I can already understand from your answer that the first indicator could be that what you were teaching, people or other players were liking it, and maybe that was an indicator. Like for any educator, it's a good indicator when you are explaining something and the others are liking that explanation. So was that one of the indicators, and what were the others as well?
So firstly, that it was fixed in my mind that I want to play football throughout my career, and then I'll become a coach. And this was the turning point when I started thinking, yeah, I can be a good coach as well. So that was the third point. And third was like when I saw coaches, my coaches, when they used to teach, the way we used to look at him, the way used to other people, parents, players used to look at him, the aura of a coach, that made me like choose, yeah, I can be a good coach. So these two were the turning points of my life.
और indicators ये भी हो सकते हैं कि जब आपने शुरुआत की, when you started to maybe find the details of coaching, like how you can coach a certain player or a certain team, and then enjoying that process, was that also an indicator for you?
Yes, enjoying the process was also an indicator. Because see, if you don't, the main thing was like what I loved doing, I was doing that. So it was not a forceful job. I am not doing something out of pressure. So I was enjoying that. So that was the case.
That was a big indicator. What was the first step you took? So you've already decided, no, imagine, so you've already decided that you are going to be a football coach. You have people around you that are doing that and people liking what you're doing. But then what was the first step you took actively to that started your journey of becoming a football coach?
So where I used to play local football, so there was a school, a local English medium school, semi-English medium school. So the same kids, they used to come and play with me. So they were a part of the school. So once the sports teacher, I was playing, so the sports teacher asked me, okay, can you teach our school kids? So that was the first time I said, yeah, I can teach them, not an issue. So for first 1.5 years and 2 years, I was a volunteer for them. Yes, I worked as a volunteer for them. So I was very small that time, and then the progression was very good. So the boys were very strong and tough, and then that's how triggered. Yeah, there is talent. I can teach them. So that's how I started as a volunteer first.
So the first step was actually saying yes to an opportunity and trying to test yourself whether you can do it for someone else. I mean, doing informally for people around you, it's fine, but then can you do it when there's an expectation from you? So that's the first step. Great, amazing. Our next segment is education and beyond. So, what was, or did you go to the college, or did you go to a college that helped you in this, or sort of hindered your progress? So, I'll just give my example. I wanted to do journalism, but somehow I went into doing diploma in computer engineering, and that was obvious hindrance to my career. 3 years, I felt that I'm not doing what I like, but the end goal was that I was so certain after that I won't do anything else other than this. So that was my college career that kind of hindered my progress for those 3 years. So do you have any similar experience?
So the school which I was in was sports oriented, and the college also was sports oriented. The area which I come from, there were legendary players like Dhanraj Pillai, sir. He was a legendary. He was a hockey legend. So I studied in the same college where he studied. So our area was full of players. So there was.
Can you tell me what area is that? And
So I am from Khadki area. So Khadki, Dapodi, Bupadi, that's the area where I come from. So there are lots of legendary players who have played for many big clubs. Now, biggest example is Dhanraj Pillai sir, who has represented India, and at times where there was nothing. So his hard work is highly appreciated. So I come from that area. So it has always helped me through my college. So there was always a good competition in hockey, in athletics, in volleyball, in cricket. All the sports we had good competition. So we had an active sports background in college and schools.
yeah, and that helped you out to. That's amazing, because I think having people around you with similar goals helps so much to do better yourself, or you kind of get a guide as well.
Yes. Yes. So your environment matters. If you live in an environment which is okayish, then you'll do okayish. If you have an environment with good competition, good mentality, even if it's sports or it's study oriented, but you need to have a good environment. That is very important.
And I think that's why people say that when you go to Ivy League colleges, you don't actually go there to study, but you have actually go there to be with people like you and be with people who are focused in their goals achievement. Amazing. All right. So you said that you worked as a volunteer for a college and coached their players. What was your first paid job as a coach? Now, I must obviously tell people that you don't kind of become coach immediately. You obviously play football, you play cricket, whatever sports you're in. You obviously play, but I skipped that because we are talking about coaching here. So I skipped that part. But obviously, playing football is a huge part. Without playing, you can't actually be a coach. So I assume that you have already understood that he has been a player already, and then he's now a coach. So what was your first paid coaching job?
So as I was a volunteer, so for first 2 years, the hard work was seen that these boys are playing. So the third year, the principal itself, she offered me that Ronnie Bhaiya, that we can offer you this. So my first job, first 1 hour ka was like 120 rupees an hour. That was the lowest which I have gone. So that was my start of the career. So I used to get like 3,000, 2,000, 3,000 per month.
Yeah. But what was that feeling though? I mean, someone paying you for doing something that you were doing for free for so many years.
Yeah, so that was one of the best feelings because वो बोलते हैं ना आपकी पहली कमाई वो खुशी अलग होती है because you start earning by your own self, and when you get that amount in your hand or someone comes and gives it to you, yeah, this is your money of hard work, then you start feeling good, then you start doing your work more nicely because you have earned that.
And so what was your learning from that when they started paying you after that? So what was your learning on that first job?
So I sort of I got a motivation. Now that was a goal which suddenly came into my life as an opportunity. So I started feeling good. So I started working more. I started looking for good opportunities. I got good opportunities. So then that's how I started. Then slowly.
So so motivation was that the learning, but you get motivated because you feel as though something is working,
Yes.
right? If
It
you, I
was
mean,
working.
yeah, it was working. So but I want to understand though, what was the learning from it?
So the lesson which I got from that was, if you get an opportunity, grab it.
Grab it. All right.
So
Yeah.
if that moment when the sports teacher asked me, can you teach our kids? If I would have said no to that, so I wouldn't have got that 2 years of opportunity of relearning, or investing my time in coaching, or investing my time in giving some values of mine to those players, and then coming back to the payment, like, yeah, I got this hard work money. So grabbing the opportunity was the best thing.
I really like the word relearning as well, which you used. That I said yes to relearning. So you can maybe perhaps know a lot of things, but when you actually start working, you implement them, relearn them a lot. So relearning, saying yes to the opportunities, even if maybe it's not a paid thing right now, but you can still say yes to maybe test it out. Maybe all right. That's again great. So, what do you think are the necessary skills for anyone to succeed or be in your position? You've been doing this for 8 to 10 years now. So, to survive, to be in a position where you are, what are maybe major three skills that are required?
Firstly, you need to be consistent and hardworking. Secondly, you need to have this acceptance that you are the best, and you have to learn more from each and every coaches you are surrounded. Maybe he's a junior, maybe he's a senior. You have to learn that, and you have to have a good mentality of learning and losing and winning also. Not every time when you win you are a good coach. There were times when my team used to lose by 10-0, 8-0 to good academies, but we still choose to compete with them. And these are the three things which you need to be like doing continuously.
Open to learning from juniors, seniors as well. Open to losing, and also not open to losing, but having a mentality, different mentality. If you, even if you win, even if you lose, you have to take again learn from that game itself. And in terms of technical skills, do you have anything perhaps that is more oriented towards coaching? For example, if I want to be a football coach right now, I may have certain kind of knowledge about it, but in order to be a professional coach, I would need some technical knowledge, right? So that technical knowledge thing. So, what are some of the important things that you need to have? Technical skills.
Yes, technical skills matter a lot, because at the end of the day, maybe it's a team game, but when you come one on one with the player, your decision making matters. So that's where the technical thing comes up.
Alright.
If the player is technically not that good, then maybe he'll not be confident. So the coach has to be technically very good in his knowledge. Then only he can go and teach the kids technically well. Then they'll progress, and then that's how we can.
Have you made any sort of efforts in the last
Yes.
9 years? What were the efforts?
So now in initial years, there were times my team used to lose. So there was a time when I realized that these guys can do well. So I started putting more efforts in them. Started investing my time more with them. So then it started. Then we started coming in quarterfinals, semi-finals. Then we started coming in.
तो ये सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट, तो ये इन्वेस्ट करना उनमें मतलब क्या है? मतलब डू यू गो होम एंड देन सर्च कि अरे इसका ये स्किल थोड़ा कम है तो मैं इसको कैसे ज़्यादा बढ़ा दे सकता? हाँ, सो आई वांट टू नो दैट जर्नी कि कैसे आप.
So you have to see players का एबिलिटी क्या है, वो क्या कर सकता है. यू हैव टू इन्वेस्ट टाइम विद दोस प्लेयर्स. यू हैव टू टेल देम, and to master that skill you have to teach them every day. You have to have a target. If I'm teaching him step over today, so maybe after 20 days 20 to 1 month, I have to be there with him. I have to teach him, and then I have to make sure that it's coming there. So it is not just हाँ मैंने आपको ये बोला है आपको करना है. No, you have to be with him always. So that's how your technical ability builds, because you are there with him as a guide.
और वो टाइम इन्वेस्टमेंट एक बहुत बड़ा स्किल है. मतलब you can't just all right 2 घंटे हो गया अभी I'll go home and do something else. Kind of.
So you have to have a follow up with the player. अगर मैंने आज आपको रोंडो या मैंने आपको आज एक स्किल सिखाया है, फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने आपको स्टेप आउट सिखाया है, सो मैंने आपको बताया, नेक्स्ट डे आई आस्क हिम अगेन, हैव यू डन दैट एज अ होमवर्क, डिड यू ट्राई इट एट होम? इफ यस, गुड, आई हैव टू चेक, then I have to take a follow up, then I start doing that in the training session, then in the practice matches, then in the matches, then he'll show the confidence. So you need to have a good follow up with the players as well.
And yeah, you kind of have to remember कि कौन से level पे है, what. That's amazing. And if you, wow, I am finding that interesting, but I know that there is a lot of hard work behind it. So I mean, yeah. All right. So one question is, for your first 5 years of coaching and your last 3 to 4 years of coaching, what's the difference that you experience? Maybe वो आपके personal experience में हो सकता है, या फिर professionally जब आपको कोई invite करता है to coach a team, or maybe they ask you to coach, I mean for example PDFA की under 19 under 13s आप coach करो, तो क्या है मतलब वो डिफरेंस? what is that difference you realize for between your first 5 years and the last 3 to 4 years?
The difference is experience. Because when you start, you are not that sure, am I going to do that? But when you actually start getting opportunities, then you start changing your mentality, then you start gaining more interest, then you start working more hard. So first 5 years of mine was totally learning, because from my coach, he always told me, Ronnie, coaching is not just come coach and do it. You have to learn, you have to understand the psychology of the game, psychology of the player, the situation of the ground, on and off the field decisions. So that was the main 5 years, 5 to 6 years, it got into more of learning. Then I started implementing. Now I'm getting results.
That is amazing. क्योंकि मुझे यही जानना था, because you also told me कि you have to have the mentality कि I am the best. Yes. And a lot of people outside of sports industry will feel that it is like a very egoist thing to say, and I also felt that. But once I've now talked with a lot of players, and I get it that if you don't believe, how is the coach going to believe? How is your other teammates going to believe कि हाँ भाई ये बहुत अच्छा player है तो I can play with him? Or now you're saying that first 4-5 years it was all about learning, it was about getting over that self doubt. तो ये journey थोड़ा सा बताइए कि how did you, for the first 5 years, not actually maybe thinking कि you are one of the best, to now thinking कि I'm the best, I can do this, I can make teams win. तो वो कैसा है आप में?
So ये चेंज, एज आई सेड, एक्सपीरियंस मैटर करता है. So पहले 5 से 6 साल मुझे इतने लर्निंग में गए, एक्सपीरियंसेस ऐसे मिले जिसमें आई वॉज लाइक, या आई शुड हैव डन दिस इन द पास्ट, मे बी अगर ये चेंज हो सकता है. So I started implementing those mistakes, or cannot see it as a mistake but as a learning. I should have done this, so maybe इसका रिजल्ट ये होता. तो I started implementing those things which I did not do it in the past. So उससे वो इन्वॉल्व करते
कुछ एग्जांपल बता सकते हो?
लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल नाउ, पहले क्या होता था, आई यूज्ड टू जस्ट टीच द बॉयज, यू हैव टू पास देम देयर, पास देम दिस, पास देम दैट. सो दैट यूज्ड टू नॉट हैपन इन रोटेशन. इफ आई टीच देम, दे यूज्ड टू अंडरस्टैंड एट दैट सिचुएशन, बट द कंटिन्यूटी वाज नॉट देयर. सो उसको प्रैक्टिस में लाने के लिए वी हैड टू डू ड्रिल्स. सो वो मैं नहीं कर पाता था. सो आई यूज्ड टू लाइक, हाँ मैंने इनको बता दिया, दे हैव टू डू दैट, बट देन हाउ टू गेट दैट इनटू प्रैक्टिस. So you have to practice those drills. So ये I used to not do it. Then I realized ये हो नहीं रहा है मैच में. How will it come? Then I asked this to I used to ask Bindas, because I used to ask my seniors, sir ये कैसे करना है? So they used to suggest me, okay, yeah, you have to put this in practice. So then I started doing that. Then I saw changes in the voice. So ये experience वाइज आता गया मेरे साथ.
That was exactly what I wanted to hear. Like that was the answer I wanted. So again, great man. And coming to the reflections and advice. So I'm glad that we are in that self-doubt part. So at any moment in your life, in your journey of becoming a coach, did you have uh, a point where you thought I can't do this? Because it could be because of maybe self doubt or maybe financial situations, or maybe people are just very demotivating around you and saying you can't do this, whatever. So, was there any moment in your life that way?
There was a
Can
moment.
you maybe elaborate? If
So there were 2-3 moments. So there was one of the moment where I was working as a fourth assistant, fourth assistant coach. So like there were like hardly anyone who used to come and talk to me. So I used to feel like less important. So I was like, is this? I did not wanted to. So I used to feel bad. अरे यार ये मेरे से बात नहीं कर रहा है. So I used to feel like, am I capable of this job? So then when I started getting experience, so that was one of the experiences. Then the second self-doubt was like my team. So the now boys who were playing under 13, so they used to play 9 and 11 that time. So they used to lose consistently. Every tournament they used to go and lose. So they used to get demotivated. I also used to get demotivated. I used to shout at them. They used to cry. They used to win one match, other match lost, third match draw, did not qualify. So I used to get in self-doubt. अरे यार क्या हो रहा है? मेरा coaching wrong जा रहा है क्या? Am I teaching them well? I used to ask the parents, is everything going wrong? Is anything going wrong? Am I doing the coaching right? So ये self-doubt आता गया और ये आना ज़रूरी है. If you don't get into self-doubt, you don't start working.
Yeah.
That is the main thing.
And so how did you overcome it? Like, was it just keep on working on the problem, or or maybe someone told you that this happens?
Yeah. So see, somewhere I will not hesitate to tell you this. So I always got a few suggestions. Like there were parents like who used to come and tell me, okay, sir, can you try not to shout much on the kids? So I felt bad that time. But then when I changed that, I realized shouting will not help me, but teaching will help me. I'll understand them well. So it helped. This is one of the experiences. So players लोग समझने लगे, मैं उनको सिखाने लगा, उनको बताने लगा. I used to take feedbacks from them, and that's how we started building. And then we came out of this.
So ये taking a feedback was or is a skill कि जो लोगों को चाहिए कि आप कोच हो इसलिए पेरेंट्स का नहीं सुनोगे, maybe kids का नहीं सुनोगे. That can't be the thing.
A coach should never have this, because coaching is a learning part until you die. Coaching is a learning part until you die. So you have to take suggestions. Sometimes I may be wrong. So you have to accept that.
Yeah. And it applies to other lives as well.
Yes,
you have
yes,
to
of
keep
course.
on
It applies.
learning.
It applies. Learning is never going to go in vain. वो कभी वेस्ट नहीं जाने वाला है. So आपको सीखना ही है. मैं आपसे भी कुछ सीख सकता हूँ.
And I think one more thing that I like that you talked about is कि that self-doubt happened 2 to 3 times. So it's not just going to go away. And if you don't have self-doubt, you don't start working.
Yes.
So self-doubt आने के बाद firstly maybe you have to be also a bit certain कि मतलब ये करके तो देखते. So at any moment कि when you had that self-doubt, did you set yourself like any kind of targets or something कि अगर ये नहीं हो पाया तो शायद मैं नहीं करूँगा, या फिर it was just like नहीं जब तक हो नहीं सकता I'll just do it?
So I never kept it as a target. I'm a huge fan of Arjun the Warrior Prince, the animated series of Krishna Bhagwan and Arjun. So always I tell this to my players also. When Arjun and Lord Krishna were in the middle of the jungle, so Krishna Bhagwan told Arjun, कर्म करो, फल की चिंता मत करो, अपना काम करते रहो, you will get the results. So I never had those target. हाँ मुझे इधर जाना है. I just kept on doing it. Kept on doing it. Then I started getting experience. Where am I going wrong? I need to correct this. So next day I used to go, हाँ ये correct करना है. So I used to do. Then I found the changes. Then we started improving it. So my work is simple. You just go and do it. You are going to gain experience out of it.
Coming to real talk section, which is the last part of our discussion here. What is the best part of your profession right now?
I enjoy it.
Enjoy doing it.
Yes, I'm doing it now. If I meet one of my friend, any of my school friend, and he's working in a corporate world, so he comes and tells me, Ronnie, यार तेरा अच्छा है यार, तेरे को जो चाहिए था वही कर रहा है. So I love that. I love hearing
Love
that.
to listen.
Yes.
To that.
तो हाँ यार,
Amazing.
तू जो कर रहा है वो अच्छा है. Whether they don't know the other fact of this, how much hard work it takes.
Which we explored right now. Yeah.
But then वो बोलता है ना, मेहनत का जो फल होता है वो मीठा होता है. So I love to enjoy that. Yeah, what I'm doing is good.
I think when we met after maybe 1 or 2 months after meeting, I also said कि यार sir क्या बात है यार, because you told your routine कि you teach school students, then come here at the academy, teach them, and then you also have you are also teaching the under. So I was like क्या बात है, but obviously that your next response was कि हाँ मजा तो आता है, but there is a lot of hard work behind it, and which is this, having self doubts, improving, relearning, saying yes to opportunities even if maybe they are not paid at first, not thinking really about that end goal but keep on working. So these are the lessons I'm learning. What is the worst part of your job? It has to be, there needs to be something.
It is handling the parents.
Okay.
They are good, ऐसा नहीं होता है, but sometimes parents are not sports related to sports. So making them understand the culture, the things
That
which we
process
have
is
to, the
something-
process. Yeah, because it's not a short process. हाँ आज सिखा दिया कल हो गया. It is a long way. So to understand, make them understand it, it's a bit difficult because you have to manage your work, you have to manage your coaching, you have to manage the players, you have to manage the management, and then you have to
Because it takes you away from coaching, right? It is like administrative work, it is man management kind of thing. So yeah, well,
so it's थोड़ा सा difficult.
It's a bit difficult. All right. And lastly, what is the thing that, or what is the part of your job that you don't like or don't love, but also don't kind of hate? Is just like in the middle, you have to kind of do it just to keep on doing what you like.
There is nothing as such, but sometimes it is like I'm too tired and I don't want to do it, but then I have to do it.
So being tired at the too tired. Yeah.
Too tired. Sometimes your legs are fully tight and I'm gone, but I have another batch to take. Then I have no choice.
So that part where you are tired, you don't want to be tired after doing all this. Yeah, but there's only so much your
There's
body
no
can
option.
do.
Yeah. So you have to do it.
All right. Thank you so much. I think this was great. I sort of understood. I would have, of course, honest feedback. I would have also loved to know more, but obviously we don't have a lot of time here to just explore in detail. But I think you've sort of touched upon a lot of things as I summarized, and hopefully the audience also understood. Anything before I close down the episode? Anything you want to tell to our audience or someone who wants to become a football coach or is looking to become a football coach?
So if you want to become football coach, firstly you need to be a very hardworking person. You have to have the acceptance of taking both the side, goods and bads, and secondly you have to be consistent. Consistency is the key.
All right. So did you enjoy?
Yes, loved it.
Did you love to share?
Yes.
All right, I'm glad you did. This is the end of the episode. Thank you, Mr.Ronni Rozario, a football coach who teaches in academies, in schools, and also teaches local district football teams as well. So hopefully you can just visit his account. He posts a lot of exciting stuff out there. And remember, before leaving, I would like to tell, this is his story. Your path is different. What you need to do is just keep on navigating through your life. Thank you, and we'll meet next time.